Okay. Yeah, the spawn of Satan himself. That's what we are. Yeah, straight white males. So it's. I wondered, what kind of what should I call this live stream? And it's like I woke up in my chair in my other office where I pay my bills and stuff like that, and I fell asleep in my chair and I woke up in a horrible mood. Um, So I thought, why not do a live stream? And I don't usually do the live streams at this time of the day, but you know, that's just how it is. Um, if you're a straight white male, you are in the demographic group where society at large is actually encouraged to be racist against you. And you get extra points in the culture that we are currently living in if you, as a straight white male, make excuses for being born as a straight white male. And you see these people doing that, if they are typically middle-aged men of European descendants, and they try to stay relevant by excusing themselves from having opinions or talking and so on and so on. But they talk all the time. So I find it amazing that people don't realize the pushback that will come. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm so fucking tired of working all the time. And when I try not to work, oh, guess what? You have some extra taxes that you will have to pay. So I have to work extra to pay those taxes. And I'm paying all those taxes just to support the people who hate me for being a straight white male. Now, the straight part, I actually think that I don't know, but I think that's we kind of add that. But I think that it's more like that you're white, you know. I don't even like that part, that name. I don't see myself as a white. I'm Norse. That's my ethnic group. But actually, in Norway, if you are Norse, so uh, descendant of the Vikings and all that, you're not even seen as one of the natives in Scandinavia, which is fucking ridiculous. But they will point at the Sami, the Sami people up north, wonderful culture that I have a lot of respect for. And they will say those are the indigenous people, but that's not true. They are indigenous in those parts, but actually, there were people in Scandinavia long before the Sami people got here. So I am not okay with these idiots out there who really, really want my money, my taxpayers' dollar, all of that, but they don't want me to breathe. They don't want me to have opinions. They don't want me to say anything. And don't you dare, if you're a straight white male, don't you dare to have opinions about something that affects women. I'll just throw this out there, okay? Abortion. I have opinions about that because I'm human and I believe in empathy. I believe that it's wrong to, it's fucking obviously wrong to kill a baby 1 month before it's born? Do we even have to discuss that? Yes, we have actually arrived at the place in our culture where we're actually discussing that, or rather, actually, me being a straight white male, I'm not supposed to have an opinion. And if I have an opinion, I shouldn't talk because this affects women's bodies. And I'm seeing these people saying that if you're not a woman, you shouldn't have opinions. It's something that affects women's health. Okay, so what about mental health, men's mental health? Can I then say that if you're a woman, you should stop talking about, you should stop having opinions about men's mental health? But it seems like these same people who are claiming that if you're a man, you shouldn't have any opinion about, you shouldn't talk about, you shouldn't mention, you shouldn't talk about, um, for instance, abortion. Those people, those same people, they will say that, oh, men's mental health. You know, men, they kill themselves because they don't talk about their emotions. They kill themselves because of toxic masculinity. You know what? If I'm not supposed to talk about women's health, then you can just shut the fuck up about men's mental health, especially if you're going to say things like that. Now, I've talked about this before here on YouTube, and of course, it's a topic that will get you shadow banned. Um, so, but it's like this, okay? Men have no problem talking about their problems, about their anxiety, about what things that they are struggling with. But they discover very quickly that nobody's coming to save them, nobody's coming to help them. If you are, especially a straight white male, you will be welcome. No, how should I say it? You are more than welcome to suffer and kill yourself eventually. That seems to be the go-to solution in our current society. Now, it is seen as, especially by women, it's seen as not very manly to complain. And some people will write in the comment section that, oh, you're complaining. You are complaining. You shouldn't complain because you're a man. Okay. What did we just talk about? Men's mental health. If you are saying that men shouldn't complain, well, how can you then expect that men open up about their problems? Can you not see what's going on here? Now, I saw a comment there. So we currently live in a society. This is just a side note. Christian people are not discriminated against. Come on, get real. If you think that, you know nothing, you really don't know anything. Now, I'm a Norse pagan. That's I don't call myself a Norse pagan, okay, because it's a term that is used by other people about my group. I don't really have a group, but you know. And if you want to learn about discrimination, you should look into our history. And if anything, we are seeing a rise of Christianity, which is both good and bad. I think some of the consequences of that, at least in Europe, will be good. But, dogmatic thinking is a lack of thinking, and I don't like that. but we'll see how it goes. I think it's a go-to solution because it's culturally very close to people where they live. So, but enough about that. Yeah, the spawn of Satan is just a funny thing, you know. It's just to use a terminology from Christian mythology. That's all there is. And I think a lot of this comes from the USA. Popular culture tends to come from the USA, sadly, um, and it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's like this self-hatred. Also, it doesn't fit with reality. Um, it it's not true that people hate straight white males. You know, let's now I'm a Norwegian, so I'll speak from the Norwegian perspective. But I think it's same in most countries in Europe and probably North America. You're not actually hated, and that's the tragic part. Okay, because people, straight white males, they think that they are hated. Okay, but they are not they are not hated by the good people out there. We're usually not hated by immigrants. Now, I will say that I living in Norway, I don't really meet many immigrants because it's not really it's quite a homogeneous country still. Um, but the people I have met have been very nice to me, usually. And I will say that my life experience tells me that how should I word this the right way? Um, Half of the population they kind of prefer straight white males. The women prefer that. Okay, that's just life. That's just how it is. And I think that there might be a generational thing with maybe the millennials, maybe, where kind of things went a little bit sideways and you have some hardcore feminists there. But my impression is that women my age, 40s and up, and also the women in their 20s, they are very clear about the fact that they actually prefer straight white males. Um, and here's the thing: when I say that, people will say I'm a racist. I'm just I'm not a racist, but that's just my experience, you could say. So the tragedy is that especially young men now, they think that they are hated. They think that they are the spawn of Satan, again, to use that terminology, when they really are not perceived in that way. I think that there are people, especially people who are always on social media. They are some of them. They shout a lot. They shout a lot, and they really, really hate. I mean, they hate people like me. They are racist. Um, is it misandry? Misandry, it's called when you hate men. Um, and that's what they are. They practice misandry as well, and these people, they are seen as representative of the general population. It is, but it's not true. So there you go, bit of a rant. Um, when you if you look at this in a bit of a wider perspective, and if I look outside of the borders of my own country, I see that we, even in Norway, in some parts of Norway, we see that we have a huge problem with um, a certain kind of immigration. And people are protesting. And when you add to that, and people really, really are protesting, but they're keeping a lid on it. They're not talking about it in mainstream media. Um, Now, proud Scion Prince, thank you for the donation. Thank you for the donation. And that kind message. So it's like we are seeing that, and it's going to get brutal, and it's Spain riots, Ireland riots, England riots. It's spreading, and it's going to get ugly because you will have people who will respond to that with racism. They have been told this will mainly be young straight white males, and they have been told that they are worth nothing, and they are angry. So this is a consequence of this. I will say it. I would call it racism. The racism they have been subjected to, they will respond with racism, and it's going to end in tragedy. A lot of innocent people will be harmed, um, and it's not going to end well. So I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm just sick and tired of it, and I'm sick and tired of life being made more and more and more difficult. I'm just sick and tired of that. It shouldn't be like that. I'm sick and tired of the dumbing down of the general population. Now with AI, of course, people are going to be they're just losing their ability uh, of critical thought altogether. And it's moving so fast now. It's moving so fast. I would have said, it will be, in a few years, we will have seen major changes. But I won't say years now. I'll say months. And within this year, before the end of this year, we will have seen more riots. We will have seen a general degradation of people's ability of critical thought. And another thing that this AI slop and the AI using AI will do to people is that uh, they get lazy. And yeah, you know what? That's a different topic. I actually have a video on that, which will be uploaded this evening here on this channel. Yeah. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, so a lot of people here are saying that it's so much better in the USA and all of that. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, here's the thing. No, it's not. It's not. The USA is a lot more totalitarian than most of the European countries. Now, the EU is a threat. but Norway is not part of the EU. Um, but it's like I know that it's very popular in the USA, mainstream media, and so on, to portray Europe as this. You have these stupid childish myths over in the USA. It's just silly, and come on. Uh, as I've said before, you think you have freedom in the USA because you can carry guns. It's like, can't you see your government just gives you gives you that? Oh, you can carry your guns. Go and play with your guns while we take away all your fucking rights. So you have to get real about this, okay? There's a reason why YouTube is rolling out their AI verification in the USA first. Okay. Now, I think that we will see a pendulum effect, um, and it's going to probably be quite dystopian. It's going to involve mass surveillance. Um, and hi there, KG. Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a while. Um, yeah, I think that what we are doing in Europe now is we're looking at the USA, and some of us, we are kind of looking at that, and we're expecting some of that to happen here eventually. You will probably have, I mean, it's not been long with the new administration there, and already it's looking like shit. And you're going to have a you're moving towards a theocracy powered by AI mass surveillance. Mark my words. You can hate me as much as you like for saying that, but if I was in the USA now, I would get ready to get out of the grid. I would get ready to disconnect from the grid altogether. Okay. Unless you're okay with a full totalitarian so called Christian uh, theocracy with mass surveillance. Unless you're okay with that. I would not be okay with that. Um, and it's not like, you know, I kind of wouldn't even call it Christianity. The way I understand Christianity, it's got nothing to do with that. Actually, it's got everything to do with keeping people down under their iron heel, under the iron heel of the government, uh, and they're calling it freedom, and it's not freedom. It's like the opposite of that. Now, um, when it comes to, again, topic of this live stream, I'm going to keep it short because I have to walk the dogs, which is an important thing to do. And um, I think that I think there's going to be a pushback, and it's not going to be pretty. Keep an eye on those political parties. We have more than two here in Europe, at least in Norway. Those political parties that are traditional in a, when it comes to social issues, they are traditional. Keep an eye on those political parties, because I think people will flock to those parties. And I think that the demographic group that is straight white males, I mean, that's a big demographic group. They are going to vote political parties, politicians into power that are socially conservative. That's going to happen. It's happening already. In Norway, we have a political party called the Christian People's Party, directly translated. I think they are going to do very well in the upcoming election this, next month, actually, because of that reason. And I think even people who are not Christians will be voting for them. Actually, anyone who are not calling you a horrible person, anyone saying that you're actually not a horrible person, or actually anyone saying good things about you, or refraining from saying bad stuff about you just because the way you were born as a straight white male. Those politicians who don't try to, those politicians will get a lot of votes, okay, and it's going to be reflected in the culture at large. That's what I think. So now, I'm not saying I'm a horrible person. I do not believe I'm a horrible person. It's just that I'm being ironic here. Why did you order a Trump phone? To me, that is insane. What do you mean, a Trump phone? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Sorry, but that I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. So let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can add. Okay. A lot of things are not making sense at all. I think people are confused here. Okay. The phone first. I have ordered a light phone. They call it a light phone. It's a phone that comes from the USA, and it is not connected to the internet. So that's, I don't know why I call that a Trump phone. The Trump family has nothing to do with that. That's okay. Yeah. I think you get some stuff mixed up here. No, it's a brand. It's an yeah. Just look it up. The light phone. The whole point about that phone is that it's not connected to the internet, right? So it gives you peace. Yeah. When it comes to okay, so okay. Let's just look into the future a little bit again. So you have a marginalized, hated by, if you look at mainstream media and social media, if you're a straight white male, you're hated. And if you're young, they are trying to take away your confidence. And you have like young guys now, they refrain from going over to a woman, another a young woman, talking to her if they're interested in her in a romantic way, so they can't even do that. And I can't even imagine what it must be like to exist in such a culture. Um, but those people, those young men, they are also facing losing their jobs, their prospects of a bright future, and that is because of AI. Some people out there, they think that AI is just a tool. AI will, create jobs, and they think it's like this almost a law of nature that when you have new technology coming in, it will replace the jobs that was lost. What the hell? Why it doesn't work like that. The history is full of examples of new technology, new culture, new things coming in, and it makes some people, sometimes a lot of people, die because they don't have a job, they don't have an income, they can't grow food, they can't hunt. If you go back like I'm thinking the end of the um, how do you say it, 11th century, and all of that. So many times up through history, these changes, they come with immense suffering. Okay, and this is what we're heading towards now. So these young men, um, a lot of them, they will not be wanted in anywhere, because, and that has nothing to do with them being white, it's or straight. It's just that they won't be needed. Same with women. This will go for everyone. But the thing is that the one demographic group that will react possibly violently towards that is the one group that has been kept down, that has been called names, that has been subject to a kind of hatred and racism accepted by and encouraged by the culture that we live in, which, and this group is, of course, straight white males. And they will be very angry. They will be poor. They will be hungry. They will want to take what they see as theirs. So if you think that these riots that we're seeing now are bad, they're nothing compared to what we will be seeing. Yeah, we have I Bray F. I don't have. It's. Sorry, I don't have the patience for that now. History is also full of examples of new jobs being created by technology. I just told you that. I just told you that. But can you practice some simple math, please? Do that for yourself, and don't fuck up things here in the chat, because I don't have the patience for that today. Not today. Um, yeah. So I would, if I were you. So here's what I would do. Okay. Um, I usually I said, connect with some good people, and I think that's a good idea, but it's getting difficult now. It's getting difficult, because people are so, they isolate themselves. But get ready to get out of the grid. And I'm not saying that like, oh, you will be living in the woods in camouflage gear. I'm saying get ready for some hard times. Well, people will say we already have hard times. Yeah, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Now, my grandmother, she was a child during the Second World War, when Norway was occupied. my my grandfather on my father's side was involved. That part of the family was involved in the resistance. So I grew up hearing stories and also talking to with my grandmother about the war when Norway was occupied by a totalitarian regime, and people adapt to hard times because they have to. But I want to tell you a story here about, and I have mentioned this before, but just to put things into perspective. She walked, my grandmother, she walked past a prison camp now and then, and behind the fence, uh, there were Russians, because they had, of course, the Russians were fighting the Nazis, and some of them were captured and they were sent to prison camps. And some of the prison camps, at least one of them, was in Norway. Well, there were several, I think. And they were starving in there because the Nazis starved them. And so what they would do, they would make stuff from, like, decoration items and stuff like that, from rubbish that they found, and they would poke it through the fence, hoping to be paid with some food. Can you imagine that? And to a father to one of the kids in my class at school, he was an old father, and he had been in one of the concentration camps in Norway, Grini, because he was, I believe, an intellectual. That man, he was, and they imprisoned. They always, totalitarian regimes always imprison the intellectuals. So he was there, and he was talking to us at school once, and he told this story that they were called in the barracks, and they didn't have enough matches, so they managed. After a while, they managed actually to split a match into eight. Eight. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this to show you that we adapt to hard times. And the only way to get out of those hard times is to resist. Now, during the Second World War, during the occupation, the government would tell you that they were doing the right thing, that the resistance here in Norway, they were the bad guys, they were terrorists, and a lot of people listened to them. Now, I obviously did not live during that time, so I have no fur. I mean, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so that was a good time, and I grew up in freedom. But what I'm seeing now is that freedom is being eroded. It's slipping away, and it's going to get tough. But I think that it's too far gone now. There is too much hatred, and we can't stop it. It's just going to have to run its course. So get ready for some hard times, some bumps in the road. How do you prepare for that? Well, Practice critical thinking. Critical thinking involves putting your emotions and your feelings, especially religious concepts, somewhere else. And then you look at things, and then you look at the facts. And then you form an opinion after thorough studying of the facts. It requires being a little bit emotionless, right? Now, another part is, of course, that you're going to have to. You're probably going to have to say no to a lot of the functions in modern society. Now, I'm being very, very negative and dystopic here, but that smartphone of yours, you're going to have to let it go at one point. You're just going to have to do that, because it will just be used for complete surveillance. And I've said it before. And I got rid of my smartphone during COVID, when the government here was talking about their tracking app. Then I got rid of it. And I had a dumb phone, and now recently, I think it was in February, they closed the 2G network. So then I actually had to get a smartphone again, while I am waiting for my light phone. And my light phone, which is actually a dumb phone, it's delayed, and I think it has to do with Trump. That's the confusion, the Trump tariffs and all of that. So it should be here any day now. So just practice some critical thinking and prepare, stock up on food if you can. Maybe you will be closed out of most functions in modern society for a while. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be probably we're going. You're going to have to make a choice. Either you just have to go along with everything. The digital ID, so here's how it will work. By the way, the digital ID will be rolled out. Alexander, I'm being ironic. Ironic. It's irony. So, the digital ID will be required for you to be on social media and the internet, probably. And if you don't want to go along with that, you might be closed out of the internet and you will be isolated. Sorry, but that's what I think is going to happen. And you could add to that things like, and this is things I don't know, of course, but they might say that for you to have a digital ID, you must go along with certain things. Let's say there's a new big cough, the big cough. And they come up with a cough medicine. Yeah, big pharma, they are, they want some more influence and money. So yeah, already, they have big pharma already have people hooked on pills and recreational drugs, of course, that they have managed to get the politicians to make legal. Big money, of course, but they are greedy. They want to own the world, basically. So they are going to say that, you know what, you're going to have to take that new cough medicine, our new cough medicine, or else your digital ID will be will be erased. And without that, you can't get on social media. And without that, you can't get on the train. You can't do anything. You know? That's digital ID. The digital ID can be edited, you know? Okay. Yeah, I see that some people here are not getting the irony in the title of this live stream, so I will be changing it. Um, yeah. Um, Cat says, so Brave New World and the movie Idiocracy. A mix of those two. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, if there are any racism here, I do not accept that towards anyone. Jewish people, no, we don't accept racism here at all. Don't get me wrong, I hate the Israeli government and what they're doing, but they are not the Jewish people. Those are two different things. Um, mm, uh, let's see here. Yeah, I'm not getting the context of some of the comments here. Yeah, okay. So this channel, is it was one subscriber under 115,000. It's been stagnant for a long time, so I thought let's do a live stream now that will make people upset and get it down again, get some people to unsubscribe again. YouTube is such a joke. But anyway, yeah, this is my live streaming channel. I not only live streaming channel, I do some videos here, but this is where I get to rant about stuff. And yeah, I have a video, as I said, upcoming video here on tonight on this channel, and on my other channel, my main channel, there will be a video tomorrow. Yeah. So let's see here. Daily says, do not dumb down your content, including your title for dummies. Sticking to your guns is a form of resistance as well. Yeah. But maybe I'll change that title to make it more exact. Also, it is nice to avoid being demonetized. And of course, the word Satan will get you demonetized, probably. Yeah. Oh yeah, Revan, yes. You are the bear and women chose you. Yeah. That's true. That's what my name means, actually. Mhm. J.D. Red Murphy, your poem. Uh, I I can't find it. You had to split it up. I am sorry. I think then I would have to search through the whole chat, and there's like a lot here. So I am sorry. I don't think I can do that. Sorry. Yeah. It is a challenge sometimes to look at the chat and talk. So, yeah. Okay. That's all for now. As I said, I have to walk the dogs. They are more important than YouTube, so that's just how it is. Oh, yeah. Okay. This one here. Now I have to be careful, Tyrdam, because add as moderator is just below hide user on this channel. Why are they doing that? Okay. Moderator. I think that worked. Yeah, okay. You are now a moderator. Wonderful. They really should move those two things a little bit further apart. Yeah. So, okay. Have a wonderful day. Check out the video that I will upload here, that will be uploaded here in a few hours. It's going to be angry. It's a very angry video because I was angry. I've been angry a lot today. That's just how it is. But tomorrow, there's a video on my main channel from the beautiful island. My main channel, it's called it's my name. It's linked to in the video description. I've split it up because that's just how it is. That's just how I do it. So okay, yeah, you'll figure it out. Okay. No, light phone does not it does not connect to the internet. Okay. Of course, it connects to the grid, unless you can't make a phone call, but you can't go surfing on the internet using the light phone. Okay. That's all for now.